on your show finally.
I'm a long time fan and I watch all your guys' content.
It's awesome. We're very, very, very invested in our community.
It's wonderful to be here.
This is Vinney Chopra and also my good buddy Beau. And we are so happy.
It's amazing what's going to happen. So, we ramped up to do the show, and we got a lot of hype about the guest today, so I'm excited.
I know. So excited to come live to you all. Live 9:30 every Friday. How to take your business to the next level.
Well, good morning, brother Beau. How are you today, bro?
I'm doing well. So I've been friendly with the guy at the gym for a long time, and then I was telling him I want to cut weight, and he goes, "Hey," and he started showing me pictures. He used to compete, and then anyway, so he said, "I'll tell you what, I'll write your whole diet for you." And so he gave me a whole diet plan for 8 weeks for $200. And the nice thing is that I see him at the gym every day.
Yeah.
So in the mind, I have to stay on the diet, right?
Right.
And it's a really like a bodybuilding diet, but it was interesting. In 2 days, I've only been on it 2 days. I stepped on the scale this morning and I was down 6 pounds. A lot of it's water weight, but still 6 pounds in 2 days.
Oh my gosh.
That's the difference of eating healthy, right? Like eating really good. So it'll be interesting as I go 8 weeks on this program. But I like the discipline. Like I can go to the gym every day. That's easy for me. But I'm a foodie, so I like to eat. I like to go to restaurants. But having a disciplined program is a game changer for your diet if you want to get really, really lean and fit. So.
I'm so glad you're talking about that. You're so right. I mean, Beau, at any age, young, middle age, or older and all, we got to really take care of our life by eating right. I mean, eating it through the mouth, I say, and also feeding our mind too, right? Feeding mind right along with all these and being accountable. What I really picked up from you right now is that you're going to see that coach right there at the gym. So by doing religiously, a lot of times we make decisions. We want to get, in the comfort of doing, I want to do this, but then we don't follow it. Right.
Yeah. And
So
that's
I'm
exactly
really
why.
proud
So,
of you.
so
Yeah.
he's at the gym at the same time I'm at the gym. So every morning it's like a subliminal message like, oh, you got to stay on it. And today's like, hey, will you do me a favor? Will you send your before picture?
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't know if I want to do that because that was a side view. I'm like, I got a gut right now. But he's like, no, just, if you want to do it with a shirt on, that's
Yeah.
fine. But I love the accountability because that makes you level up. And so whatever you can do to put those triggers in place to level up constantly. And this was just like a simple way for me to do it. So even in business, we could do the same kind of strategies, which I think is like extremely powerful. But I want to go back to what we were talking about last week.
Yeah.
And you were talking about the multifamily question, right? It's get a little because in the
Yes, I
multifamily space,
did.
it's very interesting. So on the lending
Yeah.
side, I had some sponsors reach out to me yesterday on the lending side, and it was like a perfect example of what was happening. They bought on bridge. They didn't put the caps on, like to pay the extra $1 million to get the caps. It's like a $30 million deal. And like they've executed like the rehab and renovation. It really wasn't their fault. But the problem is that with the COVID and the eviction, the turnover to do the releases has been a lot longer. So they're not able, they overpaid, one, I believe. Two, they weren't expecting the rates. And now they're kind of screwed, right? And so that's like they had like $13 million of LP money, so it's like, and then I was in one of the mastermind groups, Vinney, and I'm hearing more and more people talking about how they've invested in a syndication, and like there's some unethical stuff and all this stuff. So I guess the point is that you got to be really, really careful on who you invest with. You have to see what they're doing. You have to understand the operator, their track record, because you're starting. Everybody was hitting home runs, but now is the time when the market's shifting that people are going to get there. Some people will lose, and then some people will emerge with even more, because I think ultimately somebody's going to start, once they find these deals, they're going to start buying these bridge deals on these multifamily, because they're going to get a really good price on it, because nobody's going to pay a top dollar for these anymore, not with the rates.
So true, so
yeah.
true. And I read and listen and everything. You're right, Beau. We haven't seen the start yet. We have not seen what's fixing to happen in 2023 and 24. And look at market yesterday. Went down 500 points. I mean, the job market report came good, inflation numbers. Now, maybe Fed might be increasing rate again. That's killing. That's killing the real estate market, residential as well as a commercial, because by increasing rate, they are jeopardizing all these loans and other things. The other part is that people overpaid, as we know, everybody listening to us, they just were 16 offers to buy a property last year before. So the good operators kind of exited at the peak. I sold almost everything. I just have very few assets, which are huge assets, big ones, and they're doing well. Praise the Lord. But you're right, there will be a lot more, things coming, hitting the ceiling and so on, red ocean. And that's why I just kind of talk about, pivoted myself to the blue ocean. And blue ocean is with the assisted senior living, multifamily. I'm also going to get into residential too. I just made a decision, because there is huge potential in assisted living residential also, RAL, we call it. And that's where you're getting a home of 10 rooms or 7 rooms, and you can have up to 10, seniors there. There is such a big need of those, essentially, communities also. And hospitality, which is the blue ocean. Again, I've reached out to that side, as we were discussing, and I spent 11 days last couple of weeks to look through all the different pipelines of hospitality in good locations. With COVID, what has happened is people were crunched up, and now they're coming out to travel more, and they're going to tourist attractions and all, and with the summer being upon us. So ADRs, average daily rates, are increasing in hospitality, in hotels, as well as occupancy. So that's why we are saying those sides. Yeah.
Yeah. Yesterday I was on a call with GoBundance and added some comments. I don't know him in GoBundance, but he has a furnishing company, and they furnish large hotels. And he said their business is doing quite well right now. That there's demand, so that obviously people are doing PIP, they're doing property improvement, they're doing new builds, and they're getting new furniture. And his business is doing very well, and he specific to the hospitality industry. So I think everything we see there, which is interesting, because it goes against what you would think would happen, but I think it's because a lot of people too they're not traveling international. They're doing a lot of business vacations. And so, occupancy and ADR are up. And I think also too, the STR, like short-term rentals, aren't as like people, like for me, for example, I don't want to say it's somebody's house. I'd rather stay at a hotel personally most of the time.
Yeah.
That's just the way I am. I like a nice hotel. I think it's better than staying in an Airbnb most of the time. So I think there's a lot of people like me that would rather stay in a hotel versus getting an Airbnb and just having to deal with that. So
there are some repercussions also. I'm not really dug deeper into the Airbnb, but there are some rules and regulations are being changed. Is that right?
So a lot of the cities and counties are putting in different legislation, which is like overnight, like in Dallas, I think they said no more short-term rentals, or there's specific rules. I don't know exactly.
Oh, wow.
But even like in certain markets, ADR and occupancy is down big time. Like in Arizona right now,
Oh
They're
wow.
down big time because yeah, I mean,
Oh wow.
like probably like 40% down on STRs right now in
Ooh.
in Arizona.
Short-term rentals.
Yeah,
Wow, wow, wow. I know of a very good friend owns some very nice homes. They're in Scottsdale, I know, so I hope he's okay. Yep,
yeah,
yep.
yeah. But that's why you always have to, when something's booming, you always have to see when is this market going to slow down, right? Because
Yeah,
everything what goes up
come
is
down.
gonna be cyclical. Now it might be only a little bit of a bottoming, but still,
Mhm.
right? People are always thinking up, 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 and we know long term, yes, that's the case. But
Yeah.
there's the 2 or 5 year period where you have stagflation, and nothing appreciates, and rents don't grow as much. So I think
You're
that's a
so right. You're
yeah.
so right, Beau. I mean, I've studied the market cycles in real estate, and 8 or 9 years. Usually, there is that peak, then it goes down, up and down. But this bull market for 13 years or so in stock market as well as real estate, it had given us from 2000, let's say 8 or 9, or 10. In certain areas, it's gone as big as it can ever be, like in 2020, let's say. Then the COVID hit, and then 21, and now we are looking in 23, kind of like that slope down. But again, there are opportunities to be had. Again, we talk in this show about loans and syndications and real estate as such. Whenever there is a downturn, then there are opportunities are there only for those who stay in the game we talk about.
Yeah, I'm seeing a big movement right now of people buying businesses. Like
Hmm.
there's a lot of people that I think are fed up with W-2 work, and they're like, I've been doing this for 18 years,
Hmm.
and they're acquiring businesses, they're starting franchises. So I think we're seeing a huge uptick. Typically in recessions, a
Hmm.
lot of money goes into franchise and business acquisitions.
Yeah.
So the franchise industry affects the GDP by like $860 billion
Wow.
a year. So
Wow.
I mean, well, you got to think there's a lot of Marriott's a franchise.
Yeah.
There's huge amount of employees and job growth. So there's more and more money right now going into business acquisition and franchises right now. So I think it is a good time because there's so many people. I mean, so you were talking about residential assisted living.
Hmm.
So you're going to get is this going to be buying existing ones or starting from scratch?
Okay, good point. My main idea about my whole goal is like $1 billion, in this decade to construct and convert into assisted living. So essentially, we are looking, my partners and I, for this $100 million Victorious Ventures Fund. It's a 506C for accredited investors only. So I can talk about it. Is that we want to take some facilities which are you know to the standards that we want to put more money into it to make it even better. And if there is some land next to it, we are finding in many deals there is open land next to it, we could make some nice amenities also there so that the residential assisted livings can be even better, because there are like 33% in America are older facilities, I understand.
Hmm.
So we are really looking for those to convert faster and provide a better product. Suites hotels, name brand or non-name brand, to convert them also into assisted living and memory cares is our next step, which I feel we could do it in 9 months or 12 months. My ground up constructions also, we feel like we could get on a hyper growth, finding the right lands with already need for assisted living. Local governments are giving us tax incentives and so forth, which is amazing. And they want the assisted livings to be built there. So those three things are where we are going with the assisted living, and purchasing some already built ones which are not run right. If there is a value play, we can be, you know, putting our management company into it, just like we did it in Knoxville. I'm really proud of my daughter, Monica, who stood driven Knoxville property from 12.5 million to 17.4. We accepted the contract last
Oh, you
week.
already got a contract on that.
We got the contract, brother. We opened the escrow.
Congratulations.
Yeah, in just a year and a half, we have moved the demographics. We have done total 100% new demographics. The delinquency is zero. It's 99% occupied. We have increased the rents. I mean, just a very good case study, which I will be doing it on that Adelaide property. And I'm so proud of her. 107 units only. It's kind of small in our portfolio. So, but we are selling it, and the buyers still have meat on the bone to increase it because billions of dollars are spent in that market of Knoxville. So
Yeah, yeah.
very good,
Yeah,
thing.
that's amazing though. That's a good, let's call it a really good triple or home run almost. That is a home run in a year and a half, actually.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
and then of course we are selling the Princeton Park. We got best and final coming up next week. We are very happy. 220 confidentiality agreements were signed for that property in Melbourne, Florida, and I think 44 tours were given. So we are expecting many offers next week, and then we meet with the JLL, my partners, my other partners. We love working with JLL team over there in Florida, and they will be presenting us in a matrix all the offers and what the ins and outs and everything. So we'll do best and final with the top 5 groups or 6 groups, and then we'll be able to sell that. Our investors will be big winners in that one. We bought it for, I think just before COVID. I bought it December of 2019 in
Hmm.
Melbourne, Florida for $35 million. And we are expecting offers in the $50 million range. So in
Nice.
just 3 years, 4 years, we'll be able to, and 70% of the money goes to investors. So I'm so happy that our investors will be winners.
Yeah. Well, that's the whole point. It's a win-win for the GPs, the general partners. It's a win-win for the LPs because,
Totally.
essentially they're extremely passive on these deals where their real due diligence is vetting the deal and the operator, right? They got to
Totally.
say, okay, does this deal? And a lot of times they don't even probably, a lot of them just, if they've already invested over the last 10
Sure.
years with the same person and every
Sure.
time there's been a positive outcome,
Yeah.
they probably don't even have to look too hard, right? Like they don't,
You're so right. You are
most
so
of them
right.
probably don't even have that many questions because they're like, hey, every deal we've done has been a home run. We'll do it. They'll look over the offering memorandum in the deck of the presentation of why you're buying it,
Yeah.
what you're going to do, and invest. So that's good.
That is so true. And I was sharing with my partners in hospitality, our unicorn fund people yesterday. I've never given a webinar. In 15 years, I've never given a webinar to my investors, 580 investors, and we just send them email. I sell them, pre-sell them what I'm doing, and then I just send them with the links and package and everything, and they just click on it and soft commit 100,000, 250, 500. Amazing. So with the praise God, giving, not done webinar, but we are doing for the funds now because it's a 506c. So I think July 15th is our webinar. We are doing first webinar, with my partners of the Unicorn Fund, which is $100 million fund, and then the Victorious Ventures Fund, which is $100 million fund also.
That's great. And then you're going to deploy. You have some projects lined up, and
Many projects.
yeah.
That's the beauty of it. In the fund structure, I love it because in syndications, which I've done 40 times, and I've done 3 funds, which has been like 3 properties together or 2 properties together. But in syndication model, as you know, Bill, I mean, Bill and I were talking about it, Bo, is that, you only buy one deal, and
Hmm.
if that deal goes good, you make money. If the deal goes bad, you lose money, right? There is a lot more risk involved in a syndication. But the
Hmm.
fund model on this side is it buys many deals under the fund. So the same 100,000 for the investor puts money not in proportion or anything, but that fund of 100 million will buy 20 deals, different assets,
And so
different
then
locations.
based on how much the limited partner invests, they get different tiers. And
Yes,
so it's
exactly.
like, hey, you're on this tier.
Yep.
You invested $1 million,
Hmm.
and our blended portfolio return was this, so this makes you're getting this return. So
Exactly.
yeah.
So we give upfront in the PPM. I can explain that because it's for accredited investors only, and also for it's a 506C. Essentially, what it does is we have 100,000 A1 level and we give 6% return, for example. But IRR is 14%. Wow. Right at the 100 level. At 250 level, it's 7% cash on cash with targeted return of 16% IRR. And then it's 500,000 is A3 level. We give 8% cash on cash, 18% IRR or something, 16% IRR. Now, IRR is the internal rate of return. So the AAR, which we don't want to complicate it, average annual return is much higher than IRR because IRR counts the time value of money, and
Hmm.
we don't pay all the returns lump sum upfront. That's why IRR is lower, just in a layman's term. So our $5 million investors, which we have few of theirs now, they are getting 22% IRR. It means they are making 28% AAR, and then we are doing 70-30 split, 70 to the investors, 30 to the GPs. But once we hit that target IRR, we go 50-50. So we keep our money we make when we perform. That's the beauty of it.
Yeah.
And so we are very excited about these funds. And we just set a new goal of raising $1 billion.
So so
Have more
so on
funds.
you
Yeah.
have two right now. We have two $100 million funds.
Yes,
So you're
sir.
raising right now 200 million. So let's just use like one of the funds that you're going to raise 100 million in,
Sure.
and that's going to be hospitality that fund is focused on.
Yes.
So how do you anticipate how far that 100 million is going to go in total real estate, or under management? Is that
Beautiful. Beautiful.
500 million, 800 million is the
I
forecast?
would say that 100 million with a 20 ratio, we will be able to buy 500 million, half a
Hmm.
billion. And we have in the pipeline for hospitality because our partner, strategic partner, have been building hotels for the last 25 years plus. They have a whole, company built up. They've been working on lands, locked lands where you cannot buy anymore in Bend, Oregon, like we just found out, for the last 9 months we have known and we have vetted it. We are already building in Bend, Oregon, two hotels and condominiums, the whole project. Then we have Celebration, Florida, already starting this month, our location of the Homewood Suites there. Then I also went to our New Orleans project, last 2 weeks, and NOLA, New Orleans, right opposite to the convention center, AC Marriott. That's going to also start building in about a month or two. So those projects are already going. That's for only $20 million. We are getting into that deal. All these three projects, rest 80 million is going to be and building buying and building. I'm saying buying because we are buying some Holiday Inn Expresses and Homewood Suites and AC Marriotts. They're about completion, and we are coming in to purchase them as a partnership with our strategic partners so that we can start getting cash flows right away. We looked at Orlando, very beautiful hotel that just finished completion, and it's very highly acclaimed. I stayed, no, we didn't stay, we went there and all that. We are looking at $54 million purchase. So at 20% down, about 10 million, we could buy that one. That's going to cash flow very quickly. Then
Mm.
we are building these aqua suites. These are every unit has a plunge pool, and we are calling it a new name, Hotel Rain. That's our new brand. I'm just introducing to the world. And The Hotel Rain will be building 10 of these all across the nation in USA. And this is going to be experience of their lifetime at $500 per night. And it's a very low price actually, because we have looked at the competition and everything. Anyway, so I'm
Is
just
Hotel Rain, is that a
Mhm.
boutique? A boutique
It's a
motel?
boutique hotel.
Hotel?
It'll be totally boutique hotel, our own name brand, our own configurations and everything. And then people will be able to pay $3,000 for the stay. Wow. And then we'll be selling packets also. That's what these boutique hotels do, where there is a, you know, once in a lifetime experience is given
And
in
what
these
markets will be what market will be the first couple or any?
couple. We are right there right now building in Biloxi, in Gulf Shore, and
Mhm.
also we are building one in Mississippi right away, and we are looking at lands in New Orleans, in Chicago, in Redmond, Washington, in Idaho, all these places, because these will be the tourist attractions where people go already, and they'll be able to have this beautiful experience. Maybe one day I'd love to show some of the configurations and how they're going to look like. So I'm very much fired up how we build these. Then what we understand, maybe Marriott, maybe Hilton, once we have stabilized and built them in few years, we'll be building all these 10 in next 2 years, 2 to 3 years. We'll be
So you can do a roll up or and a private sell
You
to a
got it. You
big
got it.
private, and they'll buy the brand and then they'll
They'll
grow
buy
it.
the
Yeah.
brand and the whole thing, and then build even across the world.
Yeah.
So that's what our thinking is, that way. So they'll pay a pretty penny to our fund, because we'll be, building all these under the fund. So this can be very exciting. So a lot of great opportunities are coming on, in our laps. It's like, what I say, Bo, is one and one is not two. It's 11. One and one is not three. It's 111. And four people, 1111 is 1111. That's what has happened in my life. Having strategic partners with lots of great experiences, that we are able to join hands to bring the best products and best investments to the, accredited investors. Yeah, yeah.
I love it. Well, we're 30 minutes in already. This was a good episode. So I was
No, thank you. Thank you, everybody, for joining. Again, this is Vinny and Beau show. Actually, it's Beau and Vinny show, and I'm so proud to have everybody follow us. Please like and comment and tell us who guests, what guests would like to come on our show. I'm thinking to bring Chico Patel, my partner. I asked him the other day, and he would love to be. He's in Instagram, Chico Patel. Please follow him. He puts all the current things. Such a genuine personality. He's got almost $1 billion under his own portfolio, just the family alone. He's
Mm.
built, and he's got 1.6 billion in hospitality in the pipeline. In the pipeline. So we are so proud to be. So I'll invest some guests like him. Umang, Mystery also will be our guest. We talked to both of my partners. Craig G will bring Craig G also. But the thing is, I want other people to also come in who can make a big difference in our show. So
Very
thank
good.
you so much, and we'll see you next week,
See you
Friday,
next week, guys.
9 a.m. Pacific. Thank you. Well, good morning, America, California, all the states, up to Hawaii and all over the world. Vinny Chopra here, and Beau Eckstein, my brother, right here with Vinny and Beau Show. We come live to you at the new time starting 2023. It's going to be 9 a.m. Friday, every Friday. Again, thank you for joining, and we want to thank our guests today also.
And then eventually,
Wow.
Mike doesn't know much about Vinny probably, but Vinny's a big apartment guy. So Vinny will probably talk you into becoming a multifamily syndicator and raising hundreds of $1 million and buying apartment complexes. But welcome to the show.
Welcome
Thank
to
you.
the show, Brad.